Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Caleb
and Leslie
in real life. And we are so excited to be back on our podcast game. So we want to apologize to those of you who've been waiting. I think this is kind of something that we're going to do on Tuesday. I think originally we said we were going to put it out every Monday. But I think we're going to do it every Tuesday because it's a lot easier for us to do it on Tuesdays and put it and get the information out to you on Tuesday. So we won't have this long break like before. So we'll
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Yeah, prayerfully not. So we'll be on it for the future. So thank y'all for staying with us, and yeah, we love y'all. We appreciate you guys.
We really do.
Yeah. So listen, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're listening to us via any type of podcast that you listen to, please again like, subscribe, and rate us. Please rate.
5 stars would be nice.
5 stars would be great. But we would really appreciate that if you can do that, and share as much as you can so we can get this word out there. We like to talk about fun stuff. So do you want to talk about what we're talking about today, Leslie, or mention what we're talking about today? All right, today we're talking about this is a conversation that Leslie and I have quite often, and it's the conversation about tipping. So going to restaurants and tipping. We almost had to kind of stop ourselves because we have
to practice self-control
because we eat out a lot,
and it takes a toll on our budget.
It takes a major toll on our budget. I seen this post. Shout out to Anthony O'Neill. He had posted this, and he said, "Hello. How do you blow $10,000 a year?" And he says simply by spending, what was it,
$27 a day.
$27.40 or something like that on miscellaneous things a day. And we were like, we do that. That is us. We definitely probably blow 10 grand. And that made us cringe. So we're doing better.
When you think of it like that, you're like, man, maybe I make a decent amount, but we don't think that.
Right. But you know what? And that's a great point. Even for those of us who say maybe I don't make a decent amount,
I would like to have extra 10 grand a year.
Absolutely. For some of us really do think we don't make a lot of money, but we go out to eat so often, and like we spend most of our money. Most of our money is on food.
Like that's private school tuition.
Oh my gosh.
Educational resources.
Yeah. All the above.
Renovating your house.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, thinking about stuff you could have if you could just sit down at the house and eat at home, or pack your own lunch. But anyway,
what would it look like if you didn't spend that on frivolous things? You'd probably be more healthy. You'd probably be in better shape. You probably would be better learned.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's something we can talk about next time. But for this episode, we are talking about tipping. Should you do it? Should you not do it?
How much should you tip?
Should you tip at all?
Should you tip at all? Why?
Should you go over and above even if your service wasn't good?
Why should you tip? Why shouldn't you tip? So we want to talk about that and get your feedback on there, and we'll tell you our thoughts on tipping. So for us, we are firm believers in tipping.
Yeah.
We believe always to tip. So we typically tip, what do we typically tip? What's the percentage that we normally tip?
20.
We typically tip 20%.
And that's before it was popular. Now, I'm not saying that everybody does it, but now it's more standard to do 18 to 20. We were tipping 20 when people were like, well, it's cool to do 15.
15, yeah. So I think for us, so what we normally do, and then we'll backtrack and tell you why we do what we do. So what we normally do, we take the first number of our tab and we double it. So if it's a $50 tab, we tip $10. If it's a $20 tab, we tip $4. If it's a $100 tab, we tip $20. So that's kind of how we go about on tipping. So for us, we have this conversation so much and we hear it a lot. Oh yeah, by the way, side note, we're actually recording at work. So if you see a change of scenery, That's where we at. That's where we are. We're not at home now. But anyway, so we have this conversation a lot with other people, and they're like, I don't believe in tipping. They make money, or my food wasn't that good. First of all, your waiter is not cooking your food, so you shouldn't base their tip off how your food tastes, because they're not cooking your food, first of all. And second of all, it's just common courtesy to tip in general, regardless of the service that we get. Sometimes we actually tip more than 20. So regardless of the service that we get, we're gonna always tip. If it's bad service, they may not get the tip that we would have given them, but we're gonna always tip. I think
then sometimes, like, I would say that we've seen someone not give the best service, but when you tip really well, like, the frown kind of immediately turned into a smile, and it's like, can I get you something else? And that's not to excuse bad service.
No, it's not.
And to say that bad service is okay, but sometimes I do think that maybe those who wait on others can have some sort of attitude, for lack of a better term, because of the way that they've been treated. So, me coming in, I don't know if the previous tables, plural, just disrespected them, or like if they got a phone call and they had bad news. And so sometimes I try to put myself in their position. If I'm making pennies on the dollar every hour and I depend on this for my livelihood, I just even try to think of if Jackson was in this situation and he was trying to make a little bit of money too. I wouldn't want to give him pennies on the dollar. Yeah,
honestly, if we're honest, for most of us, for those of you who tip, shout out to you guys. For those of you who don't tip, please listen. If we're honest, if we were to be judged based off our performance at work every day, and our salary is solely based off that day, many of us wouldn't be making much, because we all, honestly, putting it quite frankly, we all have bad days. We all have moments in which it's like, man, I am not feeling this today. Now, that's not excusing anybody. We know, well, you at work, did nobody make you work here? We know that. All right, shut up.
Oh,
we all know that, but if we're being honest, we all have bad days, and that's just life in general. And some people sometimes, like let's just say, it actually just really are being jerks to people, and it just makes us feel some type of way, and it may pour off onto you, but that shouldn't stop you from having a great attitude. That shouldn't stop you from, we should never be going off on people and stuff like that.
Right.
That shouldn't stop you from being nice and tipping, because you might be the person to change their whole attitude for the rest of the day. It may not change, while they're serving you, but usually your tip is at the end, so you may help out other people for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Strategies with tipping. For us personally, we try to do at least minimum of 20%. So let's kind of talk about ways where you can do that. And I know even being around my family, I've been exposed to tipping like creatively. And so one of the creative ways for tipping that I've learned,
and we don't do this often,
right? But it's a way that
we have fun. Yeah, that's true. Especially when you got a little extra that day, definitely look to bless people. Anyway, go ahead.
Is as soon as you get the bill, you ask your waiter or waitress, hey, pick a number 1 through 10. And if you're feeling risky enough, whatever that number that they pick, if it's 20% or higher, you double it. So let's say I pick number 4. I'll add a 0 to it, and I'll be like, here's $40. And just to see the appreciation on people's faces, like not even knowing that you might have just helped them on a particular beer. That's funny. What is on my mind?
Bill.
Particular bill.
Yeah.
It just really just blesses them. Or even asking, hey, how much of a tip do you want? And it even just goes to show us, I don't know if it's like policy rules that you can't tell people what to tip, but it's funny, like seeing people's relationship with money. I've seen so many people say, I don't know, whatever you want to give me. And I've always been raised, like if somebody asks you something, what you want, you just tell them.
Straight up.
So I just want to liberate somebody who might be listening to this. If somebody asks you that particular question and says, hey, what do you want or what do you need? Don't just say, oh, whatever you want me to have. If they're comfortable and bold enough to ask you that question.
Be bold.
Right. Most times, majority of the time, I really mean it. That means that they are comfortable or bold enough to meet the specific need that you have.
Yeah.
And even if they can't, so let's say you're like, oh, I want $100. And if they say, well, here's 50 towards that 100, you're not going to turn it down.
Sure enough.
But you probably would have just gotten 15. But because you said that, they're like, well, let me exceed your expectation.
Right.
So I think that's our whole premise is how can we go in here and not just meet the bare minimum, but exceed people's expectations.
Absolutely. And sometimes people, quite frankly, when they look at you, especially if you're young or maybe your skin color, they just don't expect you to do it. And they expect you to be rude, and they expect you to be cheap, and they expect you to be demanding and not give them anything. You know, have a million requests and then tip $1 at the end. Sometimes Leslie and I make it a point just to destroy their bias or their perspective, or just destroy that, or just to restore their hope in humanity in general.
Yeah.
Just to restore their hope in humanity to say, like, listen, there are people who young, Black, successful, or just young, and or whatever the case may be, and like we there are people who are good people out there and who care about you. Now, although I believe that sitting down in the store, sitting down in the restaurant, and maybe y'all can help me out with this, or maybe you can help me out. Here's where I get confused. So I'm a firm believer in tipping, but I don't know how tipping necessarily works as it relates to takeout.
Yeah.
How do you? I don't know. So sometimes I'm always confused. I don't normally. Now I'm gonna be honest. I don't tip my 20 when it comes to takeout. I'll throw a little something on there, but it's a little something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know how that works. Maybe y'all can explain to me. Help me out. If y'all, whoever's watching, whoever's listening, y'all help me out with that. How can I think I'm a little ignorant as it relates to that. What do you think about the takeout part? Because I'm a little confused on takeout.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on
because I don't think
you're taking out from.
Right, because it's not like we get served our food, but it's not like you get that experience of sitting down. You give me my water, we talk, we develop a relationship, ish.
Because I mean, it depends. Like fast food, we don't tip or anything like that.
True.
Well, they're asking for it now in the middle of this
pandemic. Yeah.
But I think sometimes it depends on the restaurant too, because I've heard someone say, well, there are still people in the back who are preparing your food, who are working hard, and that they split tips. So just because I don't wait on you doesn't mean that I don't cook your food too. And I thought that was a good point. I don't know if it validated the whole 20% part, I guess, but I still want to make sure that I'm giving something. I think for me, even with tipping, it's always been just enough to, I don't know, visibly make someone's day. Maybe that doesn't come off right or doesn't sound right because you don't need to do it for the accolades or whatnot. But I'm still growing in that area too, because I do feel like takeout is a bit different. So like for me, it's like, thank you for putting my food in the bag and giving it to me, so I'm going to give you something for that. But I think what kind of changed my mind about takeout too is like the whole Grubhub and Uber Eats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So then how people get paid, I don't think they get paid a whole lot per hour, but they go and pick up your food and bring it to your house, and they definitely rely on tips to kind of survive or have an extra source of income.
I am still confused on Uber Eats, Grubhub, all these places. Like your order will be $23, and then by the time you get ready to check out, it's $38. I'm like, and that's you ain't even put the tip in yet. It's like, man, never mind. I go pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I have learned with tipping, and this saddens me, but usually it's the people who are the most worrisome who tip the least.
That's true.
There's always the people who want like 5 and 6 refills and extra chips and salsa and rolls and bread, who be like, here's $1.
Right, man. If you listen, you difficult. help them out. They just dealing with you.
I think in that case you should just serve yourself. Like if you're gonna do that, just
and if you're gonna complain about everything, you might not want to
cook at
home, man. Don't nobody want to. I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't nobody want to go to no restaurant with somebody who complain about everything that come out. And for those people, you may not know who you are, but the other people know. They know I'm talking about you. So yeah, chill out, man. These people are, because you don't want nobody going off on you on your job and stuff like that. And I mean, again, we know that they're there to do a job, and we know that didn't nobody make them fill out their application and do that job. But they're still human, and they still have experiences, just like you at work. You ain't always pleasant at work. We're not always pleasant at work all the time. So just be mindful of that, and it's okay. Give people grace. Give people grace, because Lord knows we all need it. So take the grace and give the grace, and give your tips. Tip people. Tip. You need to tip people. Yeah. So that's really what we had wanted to talk about today. Listen, we could go on and on. Again, we're excited about this new time slot on Tuesday. The Tuesday time slot. Hopefully that works out for you guys as well. And again, we do apologize for that, but it's still going to be amazing content every week, and we're going to keep pushing it out to you with amazing subjects. Also, please, if y'all have some titles, and not necessarily titles, but subjects that you want us to talk about, whether
we're
marriage,
open to it.
Yep. So, like I said, with our thing is we may not have the tea, but we have the milk, and that's marriage, inspiration, leadership, and kids. Anything within that. In that category, those categories, please let us know. We want to be able to talk about it.
Yep.
We're looking for things to talk about. So yeah, we won't run out. We don't want to run out of things to say. I think as we engage,
you don't want to see us start making up stuff out of thin air and for the sake of putting stuff
just
out.
For the sake of putting out quality stuff. Yeah, because we want to put out stuff that people actually talk about. I think tipping is something that people talk about, and I think that we should talk about, especially for millennials. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think it's a generation thing?
I don't know. Everybody's different. I'm trying so hard not to typecast and stereotype a group of people. It's hard, but I'm trying.
Yeah. I want to say, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe it's not a generational thing. I think that maybe it's an individual thing. But either way, I want to encourage you, listen, when you do go out, especially now.
I do know we eat out a lot more now than we have 50 years ago.
True. Yeah. I mean,
people aren't cooking as much as they used to.
Absolutely. Especially now, because this is a whole pandemic going on. These people are on the front line. Tip them. I know that, there's a lot going on. And money may be tight right now, but they're risking it to serve you. So, and I think they're worthy at least of a tip, and at least 15 to 18%, at least. At least. So be sure to do that.
Or just cook at home.
Or
save up till you can.
Yeah, or save up till you can. There you go. If you ain't got the money to tip for the evening or whenever you go, then you ain't got the money to go out to eat. That's my opinion.
They don't like that.
They don't like that, but that's just my opinion. Oh, if you ain't got the money to tip the person serving you, you ain't fully got the money to go out to eat just yet. So wait another day, get your extra $5 or whatever the case may be, and tip your people. Tip your people. Listen, that's all that we have for you today. Leslie, you have anything?
No.
Well, this is Caleb and Leslie in real life. Listen, if you like what you hear, please, again, follow us, subscribe on YouTube, click the like button, and click the follow button. We're on Instagram, Caleb and Leslie, our Cash App, Caleb and Leslie as well. We look forward to talking with you. And we're on Facebook. We have a group there, Caleb and Leslie in real life. Please follow the group. And because I think we're going to actually eventually start putting out exclusive content just on there. We actually may go live just on our group page on Facebook. So, and we want to interact with you guys as well. So please follow all that. Cash App again, Caleb and Leslie. Facebook, Caleb and Leslie in real life. What else? Instagram, Caleb and Leslie. All of it, Caleb and Leslie. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you for listening. We'll see you later. Peace.
Peace.